To you once again from DPL Surveillance Equipment. Excuse the noise for a second. Got a plane flying overhead. Okay. We're a full-service surveillance and security equipment company. We have lifetime guarantees and warranties on all the products. We have 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. We have perhaps the largest inventory of items that not only can you buy, but you can rent as well. We have a humongous video library, lifetime guarantees and warranties. I think it's got 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. Humongous video library, humongous articles directory, all sorts of articles. I'm adding tons of articles, tons of videos, demonstration videos, that is, in addition to videos on other topics. So if you want to learn about longevity or how to live forever, you want to learn about what foods to eat, what foods not to eat. You want to learn about cryptocurrencies. You want to learn about all sorts of neat things, exercise, economics, health issues, how to resolve health issues in a natural way, all sorts of things. Go to our website and take a look at what we have to offer in the what I call the multimedia center, the articles and the videos and the podcasts and the blogs to really help you. This particular session has nothing to. Oh yeah, before I forget, we revamped the website. We redesigned it. Spent a lot of money on it. Top-notch designers have optimized it for mobile, made it easy to find in the search engines, made it easy to navigate, to find the products and get to different pages or whatever. So it should be a pretty good experience. I'm it's a constantly ongoing thing to keep it updated, to keep it upgraded, to keep lots of products and everything on it. Lots of items for sale, lots of used items for sale, rentals and layaways, everything imaginable, okay? Now, this particular session is all about some brainstorming ideas that I have. Now, if it seems a little bit sketchy and not very well defined, that's because it's called brainstorming, okay? That's what the term means. Now, this particular session is all about pretty good. Now, this particular session has to do with managing the wildfires in California. Now, wildfires are not only relegated to California, but other states as well. When it comes to managing wildfires, you got a few things to keep in mind. One of them is sometimes you need wildfires. You need to clear brush and underbrush. Nature regularly uses fires to help manage the forest. So that's completely natural. So that's why I'm using the term manage. But on the other hand, when we have wildfires, when they get out of hand, that's when they destroy the areas where people live, the areas where animals may be habitating on our farms, and maybe there's going to be structures like buildings and shopping centers and houses. That's where you have devastating effects, where you really want to understand what you're up against and how to manage that and mitigate it and eliminate it as much as possible, the possibility of having those structures go up in flames. And one of the things we always have to consider is the cost. Most of the wildfires that are taking place now, especially in California, they could easily destroy 100,000 acres. Okay, we've had the Car Fire. We've had Monticello fires going on now. We've had all sorts of different fires in California that have devastated 100,000 acres or more. So, and that costs lives and that costs money. Now, my solution takes a look at the various interests and causing those interests to work together and even compete to manage fires and forests, etc. In other words, who are the people who gain the most? Who are the people who lose the most? Well, let's take a look at my idea and see if we can flesh it out a little bit. And by the way, I read an article about a startup company in California and their approach. And there's not just one single solution to this. There's going to be all sorts of different approaches. My approach works something like this. You create a bond whereby investors invest a certain amount of money. I don't know how much money is the minimum right now. It could be $1,000, it could be $100,000 or something. But the idea is that when I invest in this bond, I make interest payments. I get interest payments as a result of investing in the bond. And the amount of interest that I get is directly tied to the effective management of the forest. In other words, our whole goal is to provide financial resources to the U.S. Forest Service and the different agencies that are responsible for managing forests in different places where the fires are taking place. So the better managed the forest and etc., the better the payouts are going to be as far as interest payments and the payback of principal and maybe a dividend. I think if we could reward investors with interest payments and maybe even some sort of dividend, then that way we can make this an attractive investment for people to invest in. So we need to standardize what it means to have a well-managed forest. There's nothing like standardization. So in other words, when you work with the U.S. Forest Service, Geological Society, not geological, but the various agencies responsible for managing forests, then you can measure whether or not we're clearing a lot of underbrush. We can measure whether or not fire boundaries are put up around structures. We can better manage resource allocation when it comes to water, et cetera. So as we determine that all the parties concerned are managing water, managing clearing underbrush, managing the cutting down of trees or growing trees in areas where there should be trees, then investors get rewarded and everybody makes out. But I also have to throw in there as well that local business people should be incentivized as well, because when there's a devastating fire, for instance, you need lots of water. So I think the diversion of water to fighting forests in particular areas, we want to make sure that store owners and shopkeepers are going to be able to participate in allocating waters and different resources so that we can effectively fight these fires. And so you got to give the shop owners and businesses incentives to invest in and maybe help divert water to the firefighting effort overall. So basically what happens is, again, you invest in a bond, whether or not you're a business owner or whether or not you're an individual or municipality, whatever. You invest in this bond, especially retirement funds. This may be an ideal vehicle for retirement funds to have some of these bonds in there because of the largesse associated with those types of investors, the retirement funds, etc. Again, so you get that interest payment, and if my forest is well managed, after we get independent companies or individuals or something to take a look at whether or not, again, underbrush is being cleared out, trees are being cut down and managed, shrubs are being grown, water resources are being managed to help with the firefighting effort. then that's when the bonds start paying higher interest. And then so what happens is during the times when during firefighting season or fire season, when fires typically are, I'm sorry, excuse the noise again. As I was saying, during firefighting season, if there's no fires or very little fires, then you typically make more in interest payments. Your interest payments hopefully will be higher because you're paying out less and less to fighting the fire. So investors are rewarded when you don't when you're not actively spending money to fight the fires. So this incentivizes the proper management and incentivizes more and more people to invest in the bonds when you're not paying out the monies out of the fund itself. And then hopefully a dividend also will incentivize people to constantly invest more money and maintain their investments within the bonds, the funds associated with protecting the forest, etc. So anyway, that's basically the gist of my proposal, that we create a type of fire management bond, and we open it up to individuals and institutions, retirement funds, etc. Local business owners should also participate, because when a fire hits their communities or your community as a business owner, usually you're going to be asked to sacrifice the allocation of water, which means your business may suffer, which means that you want to be protected somewhat on the downside. So that way, again, as we have, if you have less fires in your area, which is typically prone to fires, then you get rewarded for that. So that's how people can be compensated or incentivized again to invest in these bonds by way of making that dividend and hopefully getting higher interest payments to them to investors when things are properly managed. Anyway, that's my idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to include some of the information on our startup company that also has their own approach. And I think they could be different approaches. I think we need competition when it comes to financing the management of wildfires in California and other states. It doesn't look like the federal government right now is doing much at all, at least coming out of Washington. I don't see President Trump, for whatever reason, stepping up and talking to Jerry Brown, talking to the various governors about declaring national states of emergencies in this area, that area, whatever. So I think the private sector, this is an opportunity for the private sector to really come in and provide a permanent solution. Because I think that the federal government is allocating or printing up too much money. See, the problem with the federal government is they're printing up too much money as it is to resolve issues. And when you print up money, that causes a great deal of devaluing of the currency anyway. So if we can get the private market involved and provide competition for fighting fires, then we can get various solutions from very different areas. And maybe my suggestion, it puts an emphasis on it puts emphasis on bonds and debt offerings, but someone else's proposal might be more like an equity participation or something, where it's treated more like a stock or something when people invest in the management of wildfires, and people can get rapid appreciation, again, depending upon how things go or something like that. So anyway, different approaches, different ideas. This is my proposal, and let's get it out there, get some more ideas, get some more feedback, and see what happens. So as I usually say, Guys, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and let's stay safe out there. Have a great day. Thank you. Take care. Bye.